Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming, and sorry about the delay. Today we have Emily Blomberg. She is the sophomore and an Active Minds member, and she's going to be talking about battling survivor guilt and self-punishment. So please give her a nice welcome.
Hi, this is Lauren Mustang. She was nuts. If you talk to her, she would go on and on and on about one subject, and then, say she was talking about cars. When she finished talking about cars, she would jump to talking about flowers. She was very random, and we loved her very much. Despite being crazy and fun, she had a knack for chemistry, which is kind of a weird combination. This was Stephen Wazinski. He was East Troy High School's first openly gay student. He was a leader in our school, and I'm proud to have been his friend. This last picture is of Shanna. This is Nikki. She was probably my closest friend in high school. She was always smiling. She had the nickname of Shanna Sunshine. On December 3rd, 2009, I was bored during our homeroom, so I walked over to Stephen, Shanna, and Lauren's homeroom. We were all bored because it was a Thursday night, so I asked, "Do you guys want to go to Walmart tonight? I have to do Christmas shopping." And of course they said yes, because East Troy is about a town of 3,000 people, nothing to do besides go to Walmart on a weeknight. And Stephen whispered something into Shanna's ear, and Shanna looked at me and said, "Emily, you can't come." And I was like, "Why? Why can't I come? I mean, I'm driving. Why wouldn't I be able to go?" And Stephen uninvited me because they were going to go get my Christmas present. So I said, "Fine, whatever, I understand. I'll hang out with other people." As they were driving, they hit a patch of black ice, and they spun out of control. They ended up horizontal into oncoming traffic. Lauren took the majority of the impact. She got thrown out of her seat and wedged between the steering wheel and the driver. Stephen and Shanna suffered internal injuries that were not repairable. Andy, the driver, apparently was going, I had no knowledge of this until it happened. He was in a coma for a month, but then he woke up and now lives a normal life, although he's very different from the person he was. The next few days were very rough. Everyone was asking why. What were they doing going to Walmart at 7 o'clock at night? Don't they have school the next day? Don't they have homework? What would make them think it was a good idea to go to Walmart? Since going to Walmart had been my idea, I felt completely responsible. I felt the need that I needed to punish myself for killing my 3 best friends and for putting the school through that. I started my self-punishment by making myself while shaving. I then expanded my tools. Anytime I felt sad or grieved about the accident, I would punish myself because I felt it was something I deserved. I needed to endure the same amount of pain that the 4 of them endured in order to make it okay and to move on. I started self-punishing about 2 weeks after the accident, and by May I averaged 90 new cuts a day. I got to the point where I'd have a tool on me 24/7. I first realized I had a problem when one day, after doing a number on myself, I passed out and woke up in my bed with my sweatshirt crusty and stained. I confided in my best friend because I was terrified of the experience. I wouldn't say I passed out, but I definitely fell asleep. My best friend Emily told me that I needed to see a professional. Since I was already seeing a therapist for grief, I decided to tell my therapist. She told my parents and strongly suggested that I check myself into a facility. I reluctantly agreed, only to later find out that they would have had the police force me to go to a facility anyway. My first time in a psychiatric hospital was horrifying. I was scared alone. I remember walking in. I wanted to just go sneak into my room and go to sleep because it was so scary and so lonely. But of course, the nurse said, "This is Emily. She's our new patient. Everyone say hi." It was very humiliating. I couldn't have contact with the outside world. I missed my best friend, Emily, and I just wanted to get out. I faked improvement, and I got out after 7 days. But then everything got worse. It became June, and I went out more. I started seeing people with their friends, and I became jealous that I could never go to a mall or to a concert with Stephen, Lauren, or Shanna. Why could these people have their friends in my life when I can't? I eventually decided that I didn't want to live anymore, and I overdosed. I don't remember exactly what I took or how much I took. I just remember remember that as the drug started affecting me, I was coherent enough to realize that I had made a mistake. I told my dad, who then called an ambulance. The EMTs came and they rushed me to a hospital. They made me drink charcoal, which, yes, the stuff you grill with. It tasted exactly how it smelled, so to this day, I cannot be near a grill without getting sick to my stomach. After drinking about a liter of charcoal, they had me drink another medication to counteract the chemical reactions that were going on in my stomach. The medicine that they had me take the second time tasted so bad they had to mix it with soda. The nurses brought it out in a bottle of Coke. I responded, I only drink diet, and they were not amused. Word got out that I was hospitalized for an overdose, and the texting calls came in. Messages of words of encouragement from people who were thankful I was alive. But I thought that they were lying if they were just faking it. I was forced to go to another facility, one where I stayed a mere 4 days, because I refused to cooperate, and they sent me home because they said there could be no improvement if I wouldn't cooperate. By chance, I ran into my late friend Shanna's mother. She invited me over for dinner to catch up with them. She sat me down and told me, Emily, I know what you've been doing, and I want to tell you that I am disappointed, and Shanna would have been disappointed. She would not have wanted her friend to go through this, and this is not what she would want for anyone. I tried defending myself, saying that I was coming from a place where I was responsible for the accident, and that I needed to be punished. She told me that I was wasting my life, and that I had been spared for a reason. I don't know what that reason was, and neither did she, but we know that there was a reason. She told me that I had to go out and live life to the fullest, not only for myself, but for those who can't. For Stephen, for Shanna, and for Lauren, and for who else? Anyone I don't know. After that conversation, I decided that I wanted to stop and that I was getting better at convincing myself it wasn't my fault, but I couldn't do it alone. I tried going to a mental hospital another time. It took time, but after 14 days, I ended up opening up to everyone, going to the program, and actually cooperating for the first time. I learned how to cope and how to reverse my thinking errors. I wish I could say that I am no longer a self-harmer. However, there are still urges, although I do not act upon them, and I haven't for over a year. I cannot say I'm fully recovered because those urges still exist. But I am now equipped with the abilities to cope. I keep busy by focusing on work and school. One of the most effective ways that I fought negativity was to write down everything good in my life in a little notebook. I kept it on my person at all times, whether in my pocket or in my purse. The notebook was eventually full of things, everything good, and I wrote down everything funny that happened, everything good, and everyone I loved. In total, I stayed in 4 different psychiatric facilities during 2010. I'm proud to say I'm happy and healthy. Everything happens for a reason. I don't know why Stephen, Shanna, and Lauren were taken from us on that day, but I wasn't, and neither was anyone in this room. We need to learn to live happy and carefree for those of us who can.